I'm Stuart Cameron. Welcome to Friday's Look at Rugby. Last week we saw Scotland finish their autumn campaign with a convincing win over Tonga, laying the ghost of 2 years ago. In the Booker Border League, Gala beat Kelso, Melrose won at Jed Forest, and in an extraordinary game at Mansfield Park, Hawick defeated Selkirk 43-26 after being 38-0 up at half-time. The Greens scored 6 tries, with Selkirk running in 4 in the second half to get a try bonus. This week it's back to league action, with Gala on the road at Curry, hoping to get back to winning ways after 3 straight league defeats. Curry conceded over 60 points to Gala at Netherdale, but you can be sure that won't happen at Millennium Park. Melrose are at home to Stirling County, a 2 o'clock kick-off for that one, while Hawick are away at Heriots, again with a 2 o'clock start. In the National League First Division, after a couple of defeats in the Cup and Booker Border League, Selkirk hope to defend their 10-match unbeaten league run at home to Kelso. That will be Radio Border's featured match from Philip Hoch tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Stuart McFarlane and Dale Clancy, your commentary team. While Peebles are away at Stuart's Melville, and Jed Forest have a very important game in the lower half of the table at home to Biggar. In Division 3, Hawick YM are at home to Lass Wade. Now, they were hoping to make this a double header to replay the cup tie between the two, which Hawick YM couldn't field a team for last week. But that possibility has been scuppered by the SRU's Championship Committee, run by the clubs themselves, and Lass Wade have been given the tie and will progress to meet Boroughmuir in the next round. In the East League, it's Hawick Quins v Duns, Langham against Dunbar, Linlithgow versus Hawick Lindeen, and North Berwick versus Berwick in Division 1. Earlston and Edinburgh Northern and St Boswell's against Liberton are in the second tier, with Walkerburn taking on Bowness in East League 3. Well, my guest on the show tonight is the new Kelso Head Coach, Gary Holborn, who I went to meet in Kelso yesterday ahead of their training session in preparation for their game tomorrow against Selkirk. Gary, first of all, congratulations. It's my first opportunity to have a chat with you as head coach of Kelso. How's it all going?
Yeah, it's going not too bad. We're a good coaching team in position at the moment, and the lads are responding pretty well to it.
Being in the management game, we were just saying earlier, it's a results business.
Yeah, and live and die by the results, and head coach is always first to go, so hopefully I can stick around for a while.
So what are you bringing to the table that, say, for instance, Jamie didn't?
I don't know, really. I'm just trying to give a fresh outlook to the boys. That's all we're trying to do, and we've had some promising results so far, so I think just put a bit of faith back into the boys and let them enjoy the rugby.
It's an interesting scenario at the moment, because you were coming back off the back of a couple of good wins and a very narrow defeat against Gala. I mean, we had a look at it last week, and it was 17-14 right up to the end, and they got a late try. So you'll be delighted with that, particularly off the back of Preston Lodge, which was a win, but they were two divisions below.
I mean, the Preston Lodge game, I told the lads what I thought after the game, no uncertain terms that had to happen. And last week was a big step forward defensively, I think, for us as well. So, roll on this week and see if we can carry the form for last week through and not the 2 weeks previous.
And interestingly enough, Selkirk, although they've had 10 out of 10 in the league, they're coming off the back of 2 defeats.
It'll be a tough game regardless, It doesn't matter if it's a Borders team, it'll always be tough, And they've had a good start of the season so far. They'll be keen at home to keep that going, but hopefully, like I said, we can take last week's form and have a real go at them.
What do you do? When you know each other so well, of course, as you said, they know you, you know them. How do you approach it?
Well, I think the lucky thing we have a new coaching team in, so if they've watched us, previously in the season, they'll see a different team now when Saturday comes. So like I say, we've just got to go up there, nullify their threats, and just be pretty as physical as we can.
And how have Kelso gone this season in terms of injuries?
Typical Kelso. I think obviously myself on the injury list as well. Ian Wallace has been out, and the Minto brothers as well. So I think it always happens here at Kelso. It's just the injury drinks. So
and Chris Riddle as well last week.
Yeah, Chris Riddle as well. It was obviously a serious injury. A concussion, but there was a bit of humour in it as well. Some of the things he said when he was lying there were haunting him still.
Now, of course, you've come to Kelso this year from Melrose. We all remember the famous pictures last season, of course, at the end of it, of you parading on the pitch and, just waiting for that result to come from down the road. And eventually, of course, Melrose winning the championship, which was fantastic for all the boys and for you as well. And it capped your career with Melrose, of course. And then you decided with Andrew Skeen to come over to Poynter Park.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I made the decision first. I think we were just it was a standoff to see who was going to make the move first. But it was really just a chance to keep our careers going. I think I'd given everything I could at a Prem 1 level, and the body couldn't really take it anymore. But came here enjoying it, and then end up in the coaching position. It's been a strange 4 or 5 months.
So, what's your own sort of coaching career? Have you done through the grades and all the rest of it?
I think all I've done really is just a bit of scrum coaching when I was at Melrose, and I was quite happy to take this on. It's something I had thought about. Would come up in probably the next few years, not the next few months when I joined Kelso. But no, I'll just get on with it. Keen to do my badges and everything, and see where it takes us.
Yeah, and I mean you're obviously in a top 20 team, effectively.
Yeah,
in your first appointment.
Straight in at the deep end. Yeah.
How are you finding it?
It's okay. I mean, we've got a good coaching team around. With Andrew, we've also got Ian Wallace and Ewan Ford there as well, and it's a learning experience for us all. I mean, the pressure's obviously on myself and Andrew being the top guys there, but it's you just get on with it. It's a good bunch of lads we've got here. They're responding well so far, and we'll just hopefully still be part of National League Rugby next year.
And what is the pressure like of being a coach now? Because obviously it's different from having the pressure as a player.
Pressure hasn't been something that's ever really bothered me that much. There's massive expectation here at Kelso, I think, because there's a lot of people sitting in the stand on a Saturday who were here when the club were a big, they were the big dogs in Scottish rugby, and I'll take it as it comes. Results don't go our way. We've just got to keep the boys motivated and recover from it, and when we win, they'll get credit. So we'll just work as hard as we can. That's all we can do. It's all I've ever done, and I expect the boys to do the same.
And what you say is absolutely right, because the history of Kelso Rugby Club is phenomenal, and like everything else, you go through dips and highs and lows and everything else, particularly when you look back in the sevens, for instance, and you see that incredible purple period in the 80s with Kelso on absolutely every trophy. And this is what happens. You have ups and you have downs. Selkirk obviously going through a great patch at the moment, probably unexpected to the club as well. They've got a bunch of youngsters, very talented, and in terms of Kelso as well, it's another a lot of youngsters coming through and testing them out at this level.
We're rebuilding. I mean, Kelso probably been rebuilding for the last 4 or 5 years, and it's obviously you bring new players in, you start again, and if the club, have aspirations to go up to Prem 1, we'll have to build something sustainable. We can't just be happy to win National League and go up and be the whipping boys. We have to build something that will sustain Premier 1 rugby, and it's I've been at the top of Prem 1 rugby, and it's a tough slog to get there. There's a lot of hard work in it, and hopefully one day, but probably not right now.
Well, National League 1, of course, I mean, packed full of great teams as well. Stuart's Melville, Watsonian, Selkirk, yourselves. A lot of competition about there. How are you finding National League 1?
There's a massive gulf in fitness and in skill level, and we have to, help develop the boys. I think, first and foremost, to cope. The work hard individually ourselves in the gym, and a lot of these teams, Dundee, Stumel, they have, massive resources, a bigger catchment area, so, but we can compete quite well with them. It's up to, first of all, the players to get mentally ready and physically ready before they come to training, and, maybe 2-3 years' time, if we can build something, like I said, that was sustainable, there's a chance for the club to move up.
Now, yourself, of course, props tend to go on forever, don't they? And you're, 35 now?
I'm 36 now.
But, I mean, obviously, we've seen the people like Chunk Jacobson playing, I mean, how far into the future are you looking?
I'll get through this weekend, I think, and take it from there, yeah. I always say this will be my last season, but I think possibly this will definitely be my last season, It's a hard toll on the body, and we'll probably be standing here this time next year, and I'll be saying the same thing. But well, we'll see how it goes. Like I say, I'll get this weekend out of the way. I've been out for 5-6 weeks now. I've played 40 minutes within that time, and it's a struggle, but we'll just take it as it comes.
But it is hard to give up, isn't it? Once you've been playing sort of for many, many years.
Hence why I'm still standing here. I discussed it obviously when I left Jed. I had no intention of playing on. I had the opportunity to go to Melrose, and glad I did it. Like I say, glad I came here as well, and experiencing something different, and hopefully passing on my many years of experience.
Now, who do we look out for from the Kelso Harlequins and other people who are coming into the club with Kelso connections?
I think, we've obviously got the back row lad, Liam Tate, been working hard this year for us, and we've got quite a few boys in the seconds, like Scott Brown, lad came off the bench last 2 weeks, Gordon Harkins. He's put himself in, and we do have the usual suspects. Andrew Skin will always be a class act till he's 40 years old. Chris Keane's back. He came here instead of going back to Melrose from New Zealand, and he's revitalised and he's really looking the part now.
And Kelso, I know last year you were dominating up front with the pack. It was an excellent pack you had, and presumably you've kept most of them together.
Yeah, I mean, we're facing one that we've lost that would have been handy this season, Kieran Cooney. He's a good acquisition for Selkirk, and he is a big miss here, but it's the same. It's pretty much the same pack, and the thing is, the teams that we're playing are wise. They know Kelso had a good pack last season, so they're prepared for it, so it is that wee bit harder.
You mentioned Kieran Cooney. Of course, He'll be on the pitch as well. You'd have loved to have played against him, and of course you still might, because although you're a wee bit injured, you're on the bench.
Yeah. I played with him at Melrose as well, and he's probably a very underrated player. He's played professionally as well, so he will be a tough challenge. He probably is the standout loose head in National Rugby.
And of course he's teamed up with Peter Wright as well, another rather decent prop.
Yeah,
and the two of them, though, have really been able to turn Selkirk around.
I mean, there'll be plenty of chat between the two of them. That's one thing for sure. But no, I mean, it's good to see Selkirk have turned it around, and there's a Borders team sitting at the top of the league, setting the standard at the moment.
And good, as I say, for the other border teams in the National League, the Peebles and the Jeds, and yourself, of course, to say, well, look, this could be us very easily.
It could be. I mean, I think we've been unlucky with quite a few results, but winning's a mentality, the same way that losing's a mentality, and Selkirk have got into that winning mentality, and they're there through form, not by luck.
And of course, there's 12 teams in the National League One, so I mean, we're not even halfway yet. So plenty of rugby left.
No, long season. Wonder how long my body can hold out for that.
Well, all the best, obviously, against Selkirk, and may the best team win. And for the rest of the season, let's get you up in at least the top half of the league. Well,
that's the target anyway. We've got to at least return National League Rugby at the end of the season.
Gary Holborn. Well, I mentioned the featured game earlier on in the programme on Radio Borders Super Scoreboard Live tomorrow. It's Selkirk against Kelso. That's in National League One with Stuart McFarlane and Dale Clancy. Well, I'll be at Golden Acre to bring you news of Heriots versus Hawick. But that's it for your rugby tonight.